In Venezuela, the National Assembly approved in its first reading a law that guarantees freedom of navigation and trade in the face of piracy in the region. Ecuador's public prosecutor's office sentenced the police officers responsible for the disappearance and murder of 4 Ecuadorian miners from Guayaquil in Las Malvinas case. The global Sumud Flotilla announces it would set sail for Gaza in the spring of 2026, with over 3,000 people and 100 vessels carrying humanitarian help. Hello, welcome to From the South. I'm Sophie Fernandez from the teleSUR studios in Havana, Cuba. We begin with the news. Stay with us. Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro said on Monday, during the assessment of Venezuela's productive engines 2025, that the country is a reliable partner that strictly complies with signed agreements and contracts. The head of state, Nicolás Maduro, emphasized that the agreement with the U.S. oil company Chevron is being fully respected. He also affirmed that this commitment remains firm beyond any conflicts that may exist with the U.S. government. In addition, the president reiterated that Venezuela acts as a serious and dignified nation. In this sense, the executive indicated that the creation of productive participation contracts has worked very well, an action that has attracted investors from all over the world, therefore fulfilling the commercial agreements that are made.
We are serious people. When we sign a contract in accordance with the Constitution and the law, it is fulfilled. No matter what, regardless of conflicts, circumstantial, momentary conflicts we may have with the administration. With Chevron, we fulfill the contract to the letter. We are serious people. We are dignified people. We are the heirs of Simón Bolívar.
In this regard, Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro asserted that the job of a leader is to address the problems of his country and not to interfere in the affairs of other nations.
A president cannot be thinking about how he is going to rule other countries. Imagine if I wasted my time, instead of being president of Venezuela, thinking about meddling in other countries, looking for problems and trouble in other countries, wanting to rule the world. I will be doing a very poor job. It will be wrong. One has to focus on governing one country, on addressing the problems of one country, and covering all the economic and social force, all the living force of a country to produce, which is what we have done, with a plan, and we can say 20 consecutive quarters of sustained 5% growth, and this year we are making a jump of 8%, which is a source of tremendous joy in the agri-food sector.
For his part, U.S. President Donald Trump confirmed that he seized Venezuela's oils and the ship that transported it, while admitting that this military offensive in the Caribbean, under the pretext of combating drug trafficking, is targeting all the peoples of Latin America and the Caribbean.
Program on land soon. Are you just referring to Venezuela, or are you referring to other countries in Latin America?
Anywhere drugs are pouring in, anywhere, not just Venezuela. No. Yes.
Speaking of Venezuela, oil. What are we going to do with the oil that we have?
Going to do with what?
The oil that has been seized. The United States seized 1.9 million barrels of oil on December 10th.
We're going to keep it. We're keeping it.
Where's it? Are we going to sell it or put it in the strategic oil reserve?
Maybe we'll sell it. Maybe we'll keep it. Maybe we'll use it in the strategic reserves. We're keeping it. We're keeping the ships also. Yeah, please.
About Venezuela, sir, have you spoken to American oil companies that have had their assets seized about what a post-Maduro Venezuela would mean for them, of what coming back and restarting operations?
The big ones, yeah. I have. Yeah, please.
Why do you feel like this initiative was neglected for so many years, and does this come amidst the rising tensions between the U.S. and Venezuela?
We're talking about with Venezuela?
Yes.
Well, you had a different kind of a president before me. They didn't mind being ripped off. They didn't mind being robbed. They didn't mind drugs pouring into our country. They didn't mind the jails of Venezuela and Trinidad being emptied into the U.S., where they take over Colorado and other places. I do mind. So you had a different kind of a president. I hope people are enjoying it because we've never been respected more than we are now. Yeah, please.
U.S. President Donald Trump persisted in threatening the Venezuelan people amid his interest in seizing their wealth, and condemned the entry of the Venezuelan migrant community into his country during Joe Biden's administration.
What's your end game?
There's no answer. He can do whatever he wants. I mean, we have a massive armada formed, the biggest we've ever had, and by far the biggest we've ever had in South America. He can do whatever he wants. It's all right. Whatever he wants to do. If he wants to do something, if he plays tough, it'll be the last time he's ever able to play tough. But they sent their prisoners into us. They sent people from jails, prisons. They sent people from mental institutions and insane asylums into the United States. Just walked right in because Biden had an open border policy.
U.S. President Donald Trump sent a threatening message to his Colombian counterpart Gustavo Petro, accusing his country of sending cocaine to the United States, ignoring the fact that 70% of the narcotics that enter the U.S. territory come from Ecuador.
United States. He's very bad guy. And he's got to watch his ass because he makes cocaine and they send it into the United States of America from Colombia. We love the Colombian people. I love the Colombian people. They're great people, energetic, smart, great. But their new leader is a troublemaker, and he better watch it. He better close up those cocaine factories. They have at least 3 major cocaine factories. We know where they are. He better close them up fast, yeah. By the way, it's made and sold into the United States. Comes through Mexico.
And now we have a short break coming up. But first, remember you can join us on TikTok at teleSUR English, where you will find news in different formats, news updates, and more. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back. 1 year after the disappearance and murder of 4 Ecuadorian minors from Guayaquil in Las Malvinas case, the country's public prosecutor's office delivered justice and sentenced the police officers responsible for the crime. On Monday, the 4th Criminal Court of Guayas issued its ruling and convicted 16 military personnel for the forced disappearance of Josué and Ismael Arroyo, Steven Medina, Nehemias Arboleda, 4 Afro-descendant teenagers who disappeared in December 2024 in Guayaquil. 11 of those convicted will serve 34 years and 8 months in prison, while the 5 cooperating witnesses will serve 30 months. Lieutenant Colonel Juan Francisco Iglesias, the 17th defendant, has been found not guilty.
I believe the ruling mainly implies that as a country we should reflect on the guarantees and protection we deserve as citizens, and that the state can be responsible for disappearances through action or omission. In this case, the court confirmed both the direct facts and the lack of information that was provided. It is especially important for the country to understand that the children were not criminals, and that one of the things that the court has determined is that the media must state and clarify that the children were not committing any crimes. It is also a way to restore their honor and integrity both for them and their families.
On Monday, a small Mexican Navy plane carrying a young medical patient and 7 others crashed, killing at least 5 people and prompting a search near Galveston in the United States. Mexico's Navy said that the 4 of the people aboard were Navy officers and the other 4 were civilians, including a child. The aircraft was carrying out a specialized medical transfer in coordination with the Micho and Mau Foundation. The Navy Secretariat stated that the relevant investigations will be conducted to support the authorities in determining the cause of the incident. They also mentioned that they are coordinating with the Mexican consulate in Houston to carry out the necessary procedures. In other news, cases on dengue and chikungunya continue to decrease in Cuba for 8 consecutive weeks. The information was provided by Cuba's Ministry of Public Health, which detailed that the rate of suspected cases of dengue fell by 31.2%, representing 10.49 per 100,000 inhabitants. Health authorities also continue to call for strengthening prevention measures and medical consultation in the event of symptoms such as higher fever, muscle pain, or skin rashes, especially in vulnerable groups. The Acosta Dance Company announced on Tuesday that 2 shows by Cuban dancer and choreographer Carlos Acosta will be performed in the United Kingdom in 2026. The company's director, Carlos Acosta, has described how wonderful it is to see the dancers perform the Nutcracker in Havana these days. The Nutcracker will open in January, and in the spring, Carmen will bring all this passion to the stage. Acosta invited his followers on social media to enjoy the Nutcracker in Havana, which in January will return to the stages of the British cities of Sheffield, Aberdeen, Inverness, Chester, York, Edinburgh and Norwich. We have a second short break coming up. Before, we invite you to visit our Facebook page at teleSUR English. There you'll be able to watch our top stories, special live coverage and much more. Follow our page and activate the notification button to stay up to date on the world's most recent events. Final short break, but we'll be right back with more from the south. Don't go away. The global Sumud Flotilla announced on Monday it would set sail for Gaza in spring 2026 with an unprecedented maritime mission consisting of 100 vessels and involving more than 3,000 people from over 100 countries. The Sumud Global Fleet will seek to break the Israeli blockade on Gaza and deliver humanitarian aid to the Palestinian civilian population. This is the largest coordinated civilian action for Palestine to date, following several missions launched in 2025 and illegally intercepted by Israel. The initiative is a response to Israel's 2025 interception of 2 flotillas. In November, over 40 ships were detained and 473 activists detained. Days later, a second flotilla was also confiscated, and its crews were deported after detention and mistreatment in an Israeli prison. Meanwhile, in Palestine, more than 1,500 Palestinians have been killed or injured by Israeli attacks on the Gaza Strip since the beginning of the ceasefire. 4 Palestinians were killed and 7 were injured in new Israeli attacks against Gaza, bringing the total death toll of the Israeli genocide to over 70,000 martyrs and 171,000 injured. For its part, the Palestinian Ministry of Health indicated that several victims are still under the rubble. Also, the humanitarian crisis is worsening for families in damaged homes, now exposed to winter weather conditions amid the systematic destruction of infrastructure by the Israeli occupation. In other news, the Nigerian government announced on Sunday the release of at least 130 students kidnapped in November from St. Mary's Catholic Primary and Secondary School. However, about 20 students and all the teachers remain captive. The Nigerian government spokesperson has confirmed the release of 103 students kidnapped on November 21st at St. Mary's Catholic School in Papiri, Niger State. The Nigerian official reported that the group of school children will arrive in Minna, the capital of the Niger State, on Monday to be reunited with their parents. Of the 303 students and 12 teachers kidnapped, about 50 escaped and 100 were released.
Our hearts are filled.
Moving on to Russia, a car explosion killed a general in Moscow, marking the third assassination of a high-ranking military officer in just over a year. According to the Russian Investigation Committee, the victim was identified as a 56-year-old Vanil Savavrov, who served as head of the Operational Training Department of the General Staff of the Russian Armed Forces. The Russian government's press secretariat stated that President Vladimir Putin was immediately informed of Savarov's murders. Savarov fought in Czechia and participated in Moscow's military campaign in Syria. Authorities are following numerous lines of investigation into the murder, including the involvement of Ukrainian intelligence services. In other news, on Monday, a driver crashed his car into a bus stop north of Frankfurt, Germany, injuring 3 people, one of whom was seriously injured. Mike Lito, mayor of Reading, reported on Monday the death of a motorist who had called emergency services while trapped in his flooded vehicle. Nearly a month's worth of rain fell in the Reading area between Saturday and Sunday, and according to one of the city's fire stations, about 127 millimeters of rain fell. Scratch showers continued throughout the day as some local roads remained flooded, while cleanup crews removed debris and towed away abandoned vehicles. Forecast warns of possible rainfall equivalent to several months' worth of potentially deadly flooding in the southern part of the Golden State. A team investigated the rate at which glaciers worldwide are disappearing and predicted an alarming scenario: between 2,000 and 4,000 glaciers per year, an event closely linked to global warming. A study conducted by a team from the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology in Zurich, the Swiss Federal Institute for Forecast, Snow and Landscapes Research, and the Free University of Brussels warned that the Alps could suffer the greatest loss of glaciers between 2033 and 2041. If the global temperature rises by 2.7 degrees, projections estimate that by 2100, there will only be 110 glaciers left in Central Europe, representing just 3% of the current alpine glaciers, and a 4-degree increase could reduce that figure to around 20. Flooding in southern France forced authorities to declare an orange alert after the Hérault River overflowed. The municipality of La Roque in the department of Hérault is one of the most critical areas after the storm. Several images taken in the town reveal the magnitude of the river's flooding, whose waters have invaded the urban centers due to the rains that began on December 20th. In view of the persistent rainfall, the Meteorological Service has activated an orange alert in the departments of Ayron, Hérault, Lozère, Tarn, and Var, while warning that the atmospheric conditions could extend to the Principality of Andorra. And like this, we have come to the end of this news brief. You can find this and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net, and join us on social media. We're on Facebook, X, Instagram, Telegram, and TikTok. For teleSUR English, I'm Sophie Fernandez. Thank you for watching.